What is up, everybody? Welcome in to our almost weekly, not quite last week. It was the holidays. We took the week off, but almost weekly Tuesday night best ball stream. I am your host, Tim Holstad. We have another special guest today that I will introduce shortly. But we are back to draft some playoff best ball on Underdog. So honestly, without further ado, let's get right into it.
You're watching Fantasy Now Plus.
What is up, everyone? Welcome in. As you can see, I am joined by my DFS Get Tilted host, Brian Rockwood. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm doing so great. I am not only excited to be here, but I'm still riding high off of championship weekend for most fantasy folks. I was able to clutch it out. I was one of many lucky owners that had Bijan Robinson in prime time, and I'm excited. Obviously, I'm a little sad that the season's over for now because we have our playoff league, and if you haven't signed up already, please do.
Absolutely. Sharing it on screen here. Basically, we're going to draft a team where you will have one player from all but one of the 14 playoff teams, aka a 13-man roster. You will have one team where you don't draft anyone. And the goal is to score the most points for the entire playoffs. So obviously you're going to draft someone from the Super Bowl teams, most likely, unless it's the one team you don't pick. But, who do you think is going to score the most quarterback points? Who do you think is going to score the most running backs? So on and so forth. So you'll draft one quarterback, two running backs, three wide receivers, one tight end, four flexes, a super flex, so that can be another quarterback, and a kicker. As you can see, one player per team. There's 14 teams, only 13 spots. If you draft Sam Darnold from the Seahawks, you cannot draft any of these other players. The goal is to have as many entrants as possible. You can do multiple entries if you'd like. It is $10 per team. It will be hosted via Google Sheets, but you can sign up on our website, as you see up here, fantasynowplus.com/playoff-fantasy-football. We will also include that link in the chat for you. But yeah, I'm excited for this contest. I don't know how many entries I'm going to do yet, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a lot of interesting game theory, and it's not a one-to-one for playoff best ball and Underdog, but I do think that it has a lot of similar principles that you can definitely apply to it.
Yeah, and the inability to stack is super interesting because obviously you always want to try to pair up somebody. Your example with Sam Darnold, no JSN. Now you're like, all right, well, let's see where else we can go. Like if you really truly think Sam Darnold can be the one that can unlock honestly his own self and come back, I think it's like you said, there's some really interesting decision making you can make from there. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this one goes. I'm very, very curious to see how, like, kind of what the winning roster will look like.
Definitely. Well, with that being said, we are here for some Underdog playoff best ball drafts. Today we'll be drafting the Summit, which is a 3-entry max, $15 entry. So you only get 3 shots on this one. As you can see, it's still not even really halfway full yet, so you've got some time, but we are going to hop in and hopefully Underdog does not yell at me about my location this time, as it did last time. So let's
Fingers
see.
crossed, I believe.
Think we're good.
It loves us.
Yes.
We're back.
Alrighty. So as usual for playoff best ball, 6 teams, random You're going to draft 10 players, 5 starters, 5 bench, starting 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 flex, and 2 wide receivers / tight ends. So you'll have 5 starters, 5 bench. All the money is won in the Super Bowl. So advancing out of the first round will basically get you your entry fee back. If we actually look at this contest here, let's see if so only 1 team advances out of each pod. So to some extent, you are looking for the best possible team you can make just to get out of this round, while also still considering and thinking about who do you think is going to make the Super Bowl, what kind of team can I draft for those teams, and trying to build a lineup that makes it all the way, has enough scoring players, but also doesn't score 8 points total in the wild card week, and you just don't get anything from it. So definitely an interesting balance.
Now, as I understand it, so I'm not a big best ball person yet, but as playoff best ball kicks off, we are actually trying to both maximize our points, but also minimize players that don't play. So those 1 seed teams,
Yep.
Does that make drafting anybody from the Broncos just less valuable? Or I'll start with that question first. Like, look, when you see RJ Harvey available here, like in the, I don't know, we'll say like in like the 5th round or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he even goes that late. He's probably gonna be a 2nd round.
18, so right at the end of the 3rd.
How, in your mind, is that like a really risky click?
I mean, the way I'll say it is that it's always risky to take players that are guaranteed to be a 0 for 1 week. You don't even know if you're going to get to the 2nd week. But there's also the counterpoint that they are the 1 seed, which kind of inherently means that they're more likely than not to be the Super Bowl team from that conference. Like, obviously it's not going to be a perfect 1-for-1 on that, but let's see, we went JSN first. We want someone who's probably going to play. I'm going to go Travis Etienne here, Jacksonville.
I think that seems solid.
So yeah, I think like a lot of it is, you have to find the sweet spot of, you want to build a team, preferably 5 players from 1 team if you can, of whatever team you think is making the Super Bowl. And then you want 5 other players that are kind of hitting your lineup in as many weeks as possible to help supplement that score, because, it's very unlikely that you're going to get high scores from 5 specific players for 4 consecutive weeks, 3 consecutive weeks. I don't even remember at this point. I think it's 4. But, it's certainly something to be said, and it's probably why the Broncos are so low in ADP here. I mean, they are going to definitely be playing in week 2, but because they're not playing in week 1, it becomes the question of, is it worth it to take on the risk of so many zeros if I truly do believe that the Broncos are making the Super Bowl? I would say yes, but you have to be very mindful of that going in and really have a plan of like, how am I going to build this team so that it scores enough points so that I can actually make it.
No, there's a lot of interesting names here, but Jacoby Myers is one. I'm not sure if that's too risky, because I only say this in terms of the fact we already have ETN. I know we have 10 seconds, so
I think I'm going to go Walker first.
Okay.
And see what happens, because we also have JSN, so we can build out. Seattle makes it to the Super Bowl. If they're the 1 seed, then Jacksonville is less likely to be the 1 seed. So you can still feel confident that ETN's going to hit your lineup in week 1, even if Seattle does actually get the bye. Although I'm starting to feel like San Fran might just win and get the 1 seed, which is crazy that they're even in the spot to do that.
That is legitimately worthy of an entirely different show.
Yeah.
About San Fran's ability to somehow win. They won. That was 13, right? That they just after beating Chicago. That was the 13th win.
It might have been their 12th. Math is hard.
Either way,
yeah,
unbelievably impressive. But again, for another show. Yeah, because my thought and kind of like my follow-up question was, is there, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, like, is there a gamification when it comes to actually picking those number 1 seed players in hopes that they do fall a little bit in ADP and then getting an insane value on guys like Bo Nix? Like I understand when you're like, you obviously then have to pick players that are playing week 1, but if you end up getting like a later, I don't know, like Bo Nix and like Troy Franklin stack, like, do you feel like that would be like an avenue to semi-success, or at least advancing deep into, I'd say, later rounds?
Yeah, I think 1 seed players have their value of, if you make it past round 1, like, there's going to be plenty of teams that are dead on arrival. We're on the clock here. BTJ continues Jacksonville. You might want to just lock up Trevor Lawrence.
I know if we had any piece of San Francisco, Brock Purdy would be really nice, but I think that train has left the station, considering we have 0 people there.
Yeah. Let's go. Josh Jacobs is, I'm going to pivot real fast. Josh Jacobs is just a really nice advance rate piece of, he's definitely playing in week 1. He's going to be a focal point. If they win, it's going to be on his back. So I like grabbing Jacobs there just for the hope and the expectation that he's going to get you there.
And I don't think there's any movement outside of San Fran and Seattle. I guess the Panthers could also lose, but Jacobs would then end up playing the Bears, which would be a pretty solid matchup, if memory serves.
Yep. So the one thing about taking Jacobs is that it does block us from going 5-5, which is a viable strategy. It's not, you probably want to do it with 2 teams who are not going to be the 1 seed, just because you want to have as many scoring weeks as possible, because otherwise you're basically making the Super Bowl bet twice, because you need 5 players in week 1 to score from the same team to get you through, which is not impossible, but very unlikely considering.
And very scary.
Yeah. So with this one, we can kind of see which team we're feeling stronger about, as far as definitely going to be the Super Bowl matchup. I kind of like Jacksonville more, even though it feels weird to say they make a Super Bowl, but I don't know. I think Seattle kind of like runs dry on pieces that are interesting to click.
I think truly the last one would be Barner.
Yeah.
And that is for sure an absolute, like, get a touchdown type of play, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like, things can change in the playoffs.
Yeah. I kind of like Dallas Goedert here, just another advance rate piece. And it kind of disrupts the Philly super stack that's happening behind us. Would probably be good to make sure that doesn't fully happen. So we'll take Goddard there. We've gone through 7 rounds so far. We have Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jacoby Myers, and Dallas Goedert. We currently have 3 Jacksonville pieces. We are down Brian Thomas Jr., but that is not the end of the world. We're also down Sam Darnold, but also not the end of the world.
I'll tell you what, Parker Washington is a way more interesting piece than BTG at this point. So I'm pretty surprised that I guess in theory, and I'm kind of just speaking as someone who doesn't do this a lot. if I'm picking Brian Thomas Jr. Unstacked, to me that's just gambling only on the fact that he can score potentially 2 touchdowns, and like that's kind of it. And I don't know, if that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah. I don't really. It's not a terrible pick. I do think that BTJ has just kind of had like a really weird year. He's obviously talented, but I also am like kind of in your camp of like taking him as a one-off feels really random and kind of feels like a waste of a pick in my opinion. Like I think a lot of your late picks should really be about building your Super Bowl team, getting those tertiary pieces that are going to score you points and going from there. We're going to go strange because everyone behind us already has 2 quarterbacks. I think Herbert's fine. I think Love is fine. Love actually makes a bit of sense with Jacobs. You can just say Packers somehow beat the crap out of the Bears, and it's on the backs of Love and Jacobs. Love has 3 passing touchdowns. Jacobs has 2 rushing touchdowns, and it's just a barn burner. So I think we'll go Love if he's there. We have Herbert in our back pocket if he's not. Or if we really have to dip into the Buccaneers and Panthers, then we can, but I don't think that's going to be fun.
No. I guess for what it's worth, and maybe it's too much DFS brain, but there's always an interesting shot when you take like Mike Evans really late or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think he's still on the board though.
I mean, he's draftable, but
Oh no, he's not. Just kidding.
Right now, like, it's just too much risk. Like, Tampa's pretty dead to make the playoffs. Like, because even if they win, then Atlanta has to win as well, which
Right.
like isn't impossible for both of those things to happen, but it's a lot easier to just see Panthers win and or Saints win, and then the Panthers have made the playoffs. And do you want Panthers in playoff best ball? Probably not. I don't think you really want Bucks either, but Bucks, you can at least tell yourself a bit of a story of like, they're talented, things just haven't clicked. Oh, they clicked in wild card week. Wow, here we go. So,
Man, I didn't realize how fast this goes.
Yeah, it's quick. It's 30-second clocks with only 6 teams, so it's really only a 5 to 10 minute ordeal most times, which it's hard to plan out a lot of things. This draft for best ball is more or less just like reacting in real time as you have a basic shell of what you want to do, and then you either are able to execute it or things get out of hand fast, which is kind of part of the fun, because sometimes you can get teams that are just really hard to get and really strong teams, and those are the teams that usually win. So that's kind of the entry for attempting to play, is seeing if you can get one of these ridiculous teams that just scores you a ton of points and gets you to the finals really easily. So
Man, I just wanted to talk about team 5 here real quick. Opening with Josh Allen. My first initial thought was, I don't like that one bit, because despite Josh Allen being obviously an elite talent, obviously a fantasy football like nightmare to play against, there's nothing you can really do to combo his points like with. I don't like Khalil Shakir is not relevant to me. And someone else took Shakir, which is crazy to me. That feels like a risk really not worth taking. Same thing with Dawson. Not all right, whatever. But my point being, as you scroll down, it actually became a little more interesting to me and more plausible when you have Brandon Cooks and Ty Johnson. Tyrell Shaver is not so much, but at least between Cooks and Johnson, those are 2 players that are regularly involved in this offense, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
Like, that does suddenly make it kind of like a fun look to a roster that you start creating, like because of Josh Allen and because of so many names on that team that aren't like demanding targets. You can kind of buy it on the buy at a discount.
Yeah. Buffalo and the Rams it's hard to ever want to draft them as the Super Bowl winner because you just can't really get a very good team with how ADP is set up. Like James Cook and Josh Allen go next to each other like pretty consistently. So really the only way that you ever have a shot of getting both is either on the turn or taking Josh Allen at 5 and hoping that someone already has a plan to do something at 6 and James Cook just wraps back around to you. But that probably happens like 1 out of 25, 1 out of 50 drafts. So again, worth trying to do from time to time for sure. But with us in the 4 hole, like Allen was by ADP who should have gone next. And I joke that if I'm playing for a Bills Super Bowl, I'm actually going to try and guess their NFC opponent. I'm going to take Josh Allen as the lone Bill and then just try and guess the NFC because I know Josh Allen is scoring points every week, and especially if they get to the Super Bowl. But I couldn't tell you who it's going to. Like, it's probably not really going to anyone, to be honest. Like, the only time it will ever hit your lineup is in the Super Bowl. And even then, if the opposing team is pretty easy to stack up, you're in trouble. Like if you're facing, let's say somehow the Bears make it to the Super Bowl, like they go very late in these drafts. So if you're facing Caleb, Swift, Monungai, Odunze, Moore, and Burden, and even Loveland, and you've got Josh Allen, you're lucky enough to get James Cook, and then it's just Shakir, Kincaid, and pick one of 17 wide receivers to fill it out. Like, I feel better about the Bears, even if the Bills win the Super Bowl in that scenario, because like the Bills just are unpredictable as to how you're going to score fantasy points outside of Josh Allen.
And one of the best little like microcosms of Josh Allen was this past weekend.
Yeah.
Like James Cook did not score despite having 75 yards on the ground. Josh Allen had 2 rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen had no passing touchdowns.
Yep.
Like, it simply doesn't matter who he's throwing the ball to because Josh Allen will just take it himself if he needs to. And trying to gamble, maybe Brandon Cooks does go 4 for 100 every week. That'd be cool. And that'd be a pretty awesome story. But I think it's kind of a big gamble to me.
Yeah. Even a few years ago when Gabe Davis had the 4 touchdown game, like he was very clearly the 2 behind Stephon Diggs. Like you could play him. He was drafted in playoff best ball in that year. Like you had to have him to get there. It's so unlikely that happens again with anyone on the Bills. Like honestly, the player it's probably most likely to happen with is Gabe Davis again. He's also just as likely to be inactive for the entire playoffs. Like, yeah, drafting Bills is not fun. You basically have to just be perfect in your other 5 players. And that's a tall task. Like, you're picking from a large pool of players here, even if it is reduced. Like, there's still 13 other teams that you can pick from. And you might need some players that are 1 seed players, and good luck, because then you have to have Bills hit your lineup every week.
Yeah, I'm getting stressed just thinking about it.
Yep. Let's stop thinking about it.
Let's get into a new one.
Absolutely.
I will say in that last draft, Luther Burden was staring at us. And it's one of those moments that feels like that could have been our BTJ moment from moments ago where you're like, all right, the correct answer is Jordan Love. But what if, I don't know. That's where I think that's going to be, if I'm drafting, that's going to be my number one issue I run into every time. Where I just go, oh, yeah, no, but actually this guy can really, pop off. And then just completely mess up my stack in my Super Bowl lineup that I want to choose. So here's to hoping I can contain myself when the names pop up on the queue.
I mean, draft drafting Bears is an interesting strategy in this because they've been wildly undrafted for the most part because people just haven't believed in them.
Just down on them. Yeah.
So there is something to be said of just going with it.
I think I might take some drafts later today and see where it takes me because I don't think any Bears go in the first 2 rounds. So I feel like you get a pretty good discount.
First one is ADP of 32 in a 6-man draft. So
That's
the 5th round.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how many full Bears teams there have even been drafted. So that's kind of something to exploit, to be honest, especially when the playoffs are this wide open. Is like, I don't think anyone truly believes in Caleb, whether that's right or wrong. I can't tell you. I believe in Caleb, but I don't really believe in the Bears defense, honestly, out of everything. I think that's probably the sketchiest one. It's a real shame that we're in the 104 again.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Although neither Bill has gone. We could try the Josh Allen, James Cook turn. It's unlikely, but
I mean, we could do just what we were talking about. We were just open with Josh Allen.
Yep.
See if James Cook gets through, and if not, then we can. And I'm sorry, this is your $15, but we can explore the opportunity and kind of highlight the concern that rolls around the lack of stacking here.
Yep.
So let's see. I mean, because JSN, super enticing. Honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if someone does just take Kyron or gambles on AJ Brown and goes AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts just on the turn, like a true just like wild card.
I've seen people pull up May and Trevion to the 1-2 turn just to start that stack off and kind of require that they get him. And
the dream immediately crushed. That's fine.
Yeah.
So
but
be it.
Honestly, like the odds of someone else in this draft being in our room is relatively low. But what are your thoughts on building out a Bears team in this scenario?
Wouldn't this be like that, like a really strong case for that? Because what you're going to do is you're going to have your Josh Allen, like a billion points. And then eventually, if you believe in the Bears, like they're all cheap. So right now, yeah, like kind of like what you're queuing up, you get Kyron, you get another just like locked and loaded player who you think is going to play every week.
Nico, Kittle, even Harvey.
Like I'm tempted. Like honestly, Devontae Adams seems interesting, only because he's a touchdown machine. But
like this team just got the dream because they got Adams all the way back around to stack with Puka, and they got Stafford.
Oh boy!
So like, you just kind of have to play it out and see if you get lucky, really, because like that's great. That's very rare. It's not very rare. It's less rare, but like 2 weeks ago, that literally would have never happened.
Right.
Who do you like out of these three? Or do you like someone lower down even?
I mean, I love Kittle. Like if Kittle's healthy, I think he's just a smash here. And yeah, Harvey is interesting, but I think it's okay to skip for now.
Yeah. Because
we're going to be building a very interesting team where I really want to see it go through and kind of and make it a second round. So even if we pick Harvey, it's not a guarantee we're going to make it to the next round.
Yep. And honestly, for the Bears, what's nice is even if you miss on Swift, like I feel just as comfortable with Monangai.
Oh yeah.
In a Super Bowl. I probably feel more comfortable with Monangai in a Super Bowl, if I'm honest. So like, you're not, even if someone grabs Swift, you're not just locked out of what you're trying to do.
So yeah, like staring at Devonta Smith, like I think he's just the better play in terms of just everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's just fine. Because so what does that put us at? Is that our first wideout? No. Oh, because we have Kittle.
Yep.
And then the last three wideouts, like in my mind, you want to aim for end up being Luther Burden, Roma Dunse, and probably like
Moore or Loveland is fine.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Loveland I would like better than Moore. So maybe it's too risky to pick 2 tight ends. Maybe that shouldn't have been Kittle.
I mean, in half PPR, like the tight ends aren't really going to be that less of a play compared to a wide receiver. Like the plays that are going to be wildly better are Puka and he goes 101 and JSN and he goes 103. Like they're up there for a reason. So down here, it's kind of just fully random. Whatever happens. Let's see. So I just want to point out Goods right here had an absolutely fantastic season on Underdog. He won the big board, which is the pre-draft best ball contest on Underdog. He was the runner-up in the marathon, which is week 1 through 17, basically just cumulative points. Like, that man is swimming in money.
All right, we're going to drill down onto their lineup and see what they're cooking.
Yeah.
Did Swift just go? Oh, my Lord. They took Corum into DeAndre Swift.
So he's not going to take a bunch of Bears because he has 4 Rams. Taking more NFC teams just locks him out of having some other Super Bowl pieces.
Yeah.
So that was probably just an advance piece. We've taken 4 total, so we can afford 1 more non-Bear. I kind of want Hampton.
I was just going to say Hampton looks perfect right here.
Yeah.
They play most likely the Patriots, where I'm thinking at least that's a good we'll get out of the first round piece, because I think, selfishly the Patriots will probably win that game because all of their defensive pieces will be back. But I think Hampton will still be good enough and strong enough for us to get to week 2.
Yep. I'm going to take Caleb first.
Yeah.
Try and absolutely discourage anyone from grabbing any more Bears. And then we've got 4 picks left. We'll take Manungai with 1 of them, and then 3 of these 4 pass catchers. It's kind of surprising that DJ Moore's ADP is 10 higher than everyone else. I don't really consider him to be the Bear I would like to target if they're all healthy.
That's got to be no, because it's based on what people are doing, right? So that's maybe just I was gonna say, they haven't been watching the season, but if you're drafting best ball playoff teams, I'm pretty sure you've been watching a lot of football.
Oh yeah.
And I am trying to think of a reason why he'd be so much higher.
I guess maybe folks are concerned that Odunze just doesn't come back for the playoffs. I could see that.
Okay. Oh.
Well, he just took Odunze for some reason. He is building a very bizarre team. Got an absolutely great start and is drafting Bears.
Oh, then the little brother took the controller.
Yeah. Like, he should have been hammering AFC players from that point.
I think that's my biggest takeaway is I need to remember to do that. Split my teams up between divisions. Yeah, I think you want to take more? I personally would. I like Burden, just a little higher. I know the leg injury is a little concerning. I just think I don't think DJ Moore is as necessary on this team as he has been previously, especially with the emergence of Burden. Like, I know Moore was dealing with, like, he probably had the flu against the 49ers, so he's kind of playing soft, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? Like, I didn't mean to completely bully you into picking Burden, but
the only reason I was considering Moore is just that he's higher in ADP, and so, like, when someone's on the board, he's more of, like, he's in people's mind. But I do prefer Burden as well. I'm going to take Manungai just so that we don't get, like, if we lose one or both Bears pass catchers on the turn to whatever the one hole is doing and throwing away his draft, like, it's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. Like you're still kind of playing that Josh Allen makes the Super Bowl, or you can pivot and say that the Chargers make the Super Bowl and just grab a couple Chargers pass catchers. I think they're all still there. So
Wow.
he went for it. Nope, someone else grabbed him just randomly. So
Goods sitting there between these two folks, like, all right, I'll
yeah,
take my free value.
well, he got sniped on Jacksonville too because he took Lawrence, and then the one hole just took Jacoby Myers unstacked for funsies. So,
and then they went Woody Marks into CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
they are cooking something.
I would not have drafted my very rare triple Ram stack like that, but hey, that's better for us, I guess.
Yeah,
so we only got 4 Bears.
Okay. Well,
unless we want to draft Cole Kmet.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some. Oh, Chisholm. There's gonna be some secret Jade Walker tech if we really want to get nitty gritty with it.
Is he? I don't know if he's in Underdog's player pool, like non-jokingly.
Oh, that's tragic, but also understandable because why would he be? Yeah,
he doesn't exist.
PJ Walker made it. Oh, well, that's because of previous seasons for sure.
Yeah, we could. So our options are we could take a Bill or a Charger receiver just to say that one of those two AFC teams is meeting Chicago in the Super Bowl. I like QJ.
I like QJ a lot.
I think I would prefer him to any Bill we can conjure. Or we can take Kmet and be... I mean, if for one of the Bears make the Super Bowl, it's already somewhat unique, but not many people are going to have Cole Kmet. It does feel weird to have Loveland and Kmet, but I'm open to it.
I think in general, like just a higher ceiling of Quentin Johnson would be good. And I'm curious to see what the ownership is of QJ. Like how many people are actually betting on the Chargers to make it to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Like that is going to be an interesting one to look at post drafts because I would say, well, I guess I can check the betting odds because I can't imagine it being very, very high or like the overall sentiment being positive over the Chargers. Man, if Cole Kmet is good, I'll take Cooks. Cooks would have been a good one too.
Was he there? He went the last one.
Cooks was.
He was
available.
I mean, yeah. I just like betting on a 32, 33-year-old cut wide receiver to be the wide receiver one for the Bills just sounds like an unfun venture to me.
And yet, I know. So I was trying to look at this past game for the Bills playing the Eagles because that's like a semi playoff matchup.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 players had 30 yards receiving.
It's what it always happens.
Cooks was the recipient of 100 yards on 6 targets. That's great. Shakir had 7 targets, but then it gets even murkier with like Dawson Knox at 5, Ty Johnson at 4, James Cook at 4. Man, it's gonna be a lot to try to hit that scratch ticket every week.
Yep. So we went a little random, which probably is for the best in an already unique Super Bowl play with the Bears. So started off Josh Allen, Kyren Williams, George Kittle, Devonta Smith, Amarian Hampton. You feel very strong about those 5. They're all definitely playing week 1. And then only got 4 Bears because we'll talk about it. But we got Caleb, Luther Burden, Kyle Monangai, Colston Loveland. And then we finished it up with Quentin Johnston to pair with Hampton on the off chance that the Chargers are who the Bears are facing in the Super Bowl. We did not get the 5 ideal Bears because the one hole had an amazing start of Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Matt Stafford. We took Kyron from them, so that was really the only thing that hurt them. But they also took Corum in the 4th to still cover their bases. And then they stopped taking Rams, which is already a weird choice. Obviously, like Colby Parkinson and Kanata Mumpfield and
Terrence
Tutu.
Ferguson.
Yeah,
really
like
good
they're
too.
they're not fun, but building out a 5 of Rams is still like pertinent and can still absolutely get you there. They took DeAndre Swift, which by itself, fine. Advancing running back, all of the high projectable running backs were kind of off the board outside of Hampton at this point. So that's not really weird to me. That's totally within their realm. Took Jacoby Myers in the 6th. Not fully strange. Like, you could start saying that Jacksonville is going to make the Super Bowl, although Lawrence and Thomas had already gone at that point. So it was kind of weird to pick the Jags. And then they just take Rome Odunze for some reason. So now they have 2 NFC players that are like very certainly not going to help them past like the divisional round in this scenario. So it's kind of weird that they did that. And then they took 3 Texans as like, they are viable to make the Super Bowl. Absolutely. I think like basically every team is viable, but I personally would have, I don't know, I would have thought more about what AFC team I was trying to target if I was at the one hole. Like, especially seeing that once we took taken Caleb, I feel like they should have pivoted into taking Bills. Like, it was obvious that we weren't going to stack Bills at that point. So I don't know. That would have been my pivot for them. But
Wait, interestingly enough, they could have just taken Lamar
yeah,
and started going, all right, I think the rate, because you're already taking a 6 seed, right? Like,
yeah,
might as well take a team that might not even make the playoffs instead of start making a gamble saying, look, Lamar Jackson's healthy when the chips are down, and Zay
yeah,
Flowers is still on the board. No one's picking Andrews. No one's picking Likely. I feel like that could have been an avenue they could take.
yeah. Henry did go before their 4th, so I imagine that probably pushed them off of that idea. But
That's fair.
still, like, we hadn't taken Hampton yet. Like, it could have been an LA versus LA bet, which I think is totally possible. Like, there's plenty of Patriots that you could have grabbed at some point. So definitely just not how I would have. Like, you could have gone Broncos to some extent. Like, that would have been a good team to pair with the Rams. Of they're going to definitely be playing in round 2, and I don't know, weird, but that's why we draft, because sometimes you get really fun combinations, and sometimes you then probably mess it up.
Wow. Yeah, best ball is so interesting to me, and there's so much more to look into and dive into, especially when you look at just ownership percentages and likelihood of what can happen depending on your draft spot. So
Yeah.
hopefully we don't get the 104 again. Hopefully it's something new and we can kind of do something different here.
Yeah. And, regular season best ball is a lot easier, in my opinion, to draft because it's 18 rounds and there's 12 people in the pod, and it's a lot more planning can go into what you want to do with your team, and it's based on other factors that are not so random. And Playoff Best Ball is kind of just pulling a lever on a slot machine and seeing what happens, which, I think it's fun because I think there is still some skill involved. Might not be your cup of tea. And that's okay. If it is your cup of tea, though, and you haven't signed up for Underdog, please do so using promo code FN Plus. That's FNPLUS. When you play $5 as a new customer, you will get $75 in bonus funds that you can use on anything on Underdog. So it can be pick'ems, it can be these best ball drafts. The big board is scarily just around the corner for 2026. I believe that starts in the conference championship weeks is when it started last year. So it's already rookie season. It's already looking ahead and seeing if you can thread the needle on some draft picks and some rookie prospects that you like. So definitely use that promo code if you haven't already signed up for Underdog. Join us on Underdog. It's a lot of fun. We are excited to bring you this content. We're excited to keep being on this platform. I think it is one of the best things in fantasy football today. Alrighty, let's jump into this final summit draft. No location error, so that's nice. I'm hoping we get a 6-hole here because I wanted to go Patriots. I want to pull them up. I want to get the whole team, feel good about it, get some advanced pieces around it. I think that they are pretty live to make the Super Bowl, personally. Obviously, you're going to agree.
Music to my ears.
But I don't like going too terribly out of ADP, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, my question to you was going to be, of your playoff drafts, is there a team that you've not clicked on enough that you're really interested in getting pieces of as you go forward, whether it be this one or the mitten or the little mitten I think you guys tried to do beforehand?
I didn't grab enough 49ers when they were like dirt cheap, and now they're expensive because people are like, oh, they're like for real. So I wish I had done that. Like, you used to be able to get McCaffrey at the back end of the first round. You used to be able to get Kittle in like the fourth, get everyone else as free as you wanted the instant you took Purdy and claimed the stack. Like, no one else was hopping in to grab Juwan Jennings or Ricky Pearsall. They're still relatively cheap, but they have gone up in price. So some of the combos that you could get before, you can't get now, and that feels a little less fun, but still want more 49ers. I think if we get an early slot, that might be the team that I would target if we can get McCaffrey. Sometimes he falls to like the 3. I don't think he usually falls past the 3, but he might. We do have to play them differently than we were, though, because there is like an actual real chance that they're the 1 seed, which is bizarre because that was never really in my mind as a possibility until a couple days ago when I learned that it was actually like totally possible and possibly even like probable at this point. Like, they're playing out of their minds.
That offense is humming. And I thought about this earlier because I knew I was going to hop on the show. So I started thinking about questions. I did a little prepping. I was thinking about how when you were doing best ball, like drafts before last week, even before week 16, like how much you're like rooting for a team to not get a bye. You're like, okay, awesome. Like you just said, the San Francisco 49ers are super cheap. Like, just kind of make the playoffs. Be a 2-3 seed. This is great, but don't win too much because I want your points every week. And now, like especially last week, between the 49ers and the Bears, Bears had a chance to get the 1 seed all of a sudden, and now you're like, well, they're already cheaper to begin with, so it doesn't really matter too much. But we have so much exposure to the 49ers. It's like, oh, now we need them to lose the Seahawks, I guess. Because then if the Seahawks win, then they're the first seed. And all the JSN drafters are like, I hope I survive. Like, I will probably make it past the second round.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how many people are relying on Sam Darnold to get you through, but.
Well, and that's kind of the interesting thing about contests that are open for, I think, what's this, 3 weeks now, 4 weeks almost. Like, with something like the Mitten or the Little Mitten, those things are closing within the first week or two, and it's not really a problem because it's more of like a time box thing. But here, this contest has been open since they launched Playoff Best Ball. It's not even halfway filled yet, and so you're going to have quite a bunch of teams where they were operating as the Rams as the 1 seed, and so they drafted with that and might have supplemented it with, at the time they might have thought that the Patriots were a better shot for the 1 seed versus the Broncos. So if they've got Rams and Patriots, you're looking great. But if you've got Seahawks and Broncos, because you're like, oh, they're not going to get the 1 seed. They're like really boring teams. They're not the most fun to draft. Like, I don't want to stack that. Like, you could just have no players play and you're just dead on arrival. So it's definitely interesting of like, as the days and weeks have progressed, like the meta of how you draft your teams changes a lot because it's really dependent on what reality was at the time you drafted it. So it's kind of similar to how regular season best ball works. It's just in a much shorter time frame for sure.
Yeah, and that was exactly my next point, was just how drafting best ball teams in the preseason or even in the middle of summer, like real sicko stuff, like how much value and how much like discounted players you get because you're taking just a massive gamble. like you're dealing with like not even like 50% information.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't know if this guy's, I mean, more often than not, you're drafting people who will make the team, because I don't know how many people are drafting. Let's say, who's the guy on the, he was on the Cowboys and he was on the Commanders. I don't remember now. I keep thinking of Terrence Marshall, but he's kind of a good example anyway, where you're like, all right, whatever. Let me pick the wide receiver 6 on a team. Like, you're not really doing that anyway. You're going to still keep it within realm. But then you get like the discounts on guys like Monangai, like, for example, right? And all of a sudden you're getting week winning performances out of a guy that people didn't really think about because you're drafting in June.
Yeah.
So really interesting, especially like being able to draft this in like week 15.
Yeah. Well, and for regular season best ball, which we will be bringing plenty of that content to you folks as it launches. So stay tuned for that in the next few months. I'm excited to be leading the charge on that and really ramping up what we're drafting. But, Kyle Monangai was like someone who was a major hole in my portfolio because, I was convinced that this running back draft class was great from top to bottom, that there was producers all the way from first round in through 7th round and undrafted even. There was a few guys that were interesting. And for whatever reason, I just didn't really believe in Kyle Monangai. And so even though he was in similar positions to a lot of guys that I did believe in, I just only drafted those guys and I didn't draft any Monangai. And I was 25% Roshan Johnson. So, I was like, no way a 4th, 5th round pick that is definitely talented because he played behind Bijan. I don't really know where I'm getting that idea from, but he seems talented in my brain. So I'm always just like, oh, he was definitely going to take over the backfield, or at least like take a slice of the pie away from DeAndre Swift. And then never once did I consider, well, they drafted a rookie in the 6th round who's like very David Montgomery-esque. Like, maybe I should take him instead. But I was like, nope, Roshan's already been there. He's obviously better. Spoiler alert, no, he was not.
The thought process behind, obviously Roshan is a good running back because like he doesn't get the reps because Bijan was there, right?
Yep.
That was like a really pervasive thought between a lot of dynasty folks. I'm not sure about Devi. I'm not going to go that far deep into the formats, but the idea being like, all right, there's something here because he's still got a bunch of reps in behind Bijan, and now he's on a team that's going to be a run first team. He was their goal line back. There was like, I feel like there was a lot of marks in his like success box, like I don't know, success column that would have been like, all right, we check all these. This should work. But the problem is they just draft a guy who is kind of better at those things than he was, but people just didn't really know it because who was going to draft, like, kind of like the Isaiah Pacheco thing. Who's going to draft the 6th round, 7th round running back out of Rutgers?
Yeah.
Like, he's playing in the Big Ten. Like, it's like, if he's not winning games, then it's not important to us. And you kind of forget that good players are sometimes on bad teams.
Well, and you pair that with like, you know, oh, Manungai never caught passes in college. Like he's not going to do so in the NFL, and therefore he's not that valuable because everything has to be touchdown based, which conveniently overlooks the fact that like touchdowns are the most important part of fantasy, and Chicago was an offense that a lot of us believed in, not necessarily to the extent that it's even gotten to, but we believed in Ben Johnson. We believed that he was going to give them the opportunity to score a lot more points. And so we were in on that offense as a whole, but for some reason we were just like, well, if he needs a new David Montgomery, he'll probably pick the not good at anything, okay at everything dude that was from a previous regime, and not the 6th round pick that's specifically molded like David Montgomery that he just drafted. That was just bad process on my part. Like, you know, I was all in on like Jarquez Hunter or Taj Brooks. I was like,
I knew it. I knew Taj Brooks. I couldn't for the life of me remember Taj Brooks' name, and that's just one of those. Yeah, obviously we forget his name because he's just dust.
I don't think Jack Taylor knows his name either.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I was over 15-20% on both of those guys because I was like, where, you know, they were drafted by this regime. They're in backfields where things feel possible to have them win out and have them like, actually, we got the 4 again. Goodness. You know, they have the opportunity to win these touches, and you know, it turns out the Rams actually didn't really want to use Jarquez Hunter. They just needed Blake Corum to like actually step up and play well. And the instant he did, Jarquez Hunter was just gone. And they probably wanted Taj Brooks to contribute at some point, but it turned out that he just wasn't good at the things that they needed him to be good at as a rookie out of the 6th round. And they would have rather played Samaje Perine, especially for a team that started out with playoff aspirations. So, you know,
Can't be perfect.
Yeah. I got suckered into the idea of pass catching on a website where it doesn't really matter.
We're playing too much on DraftKings, man. That's the problem. That full point PPR just sits in your noggin like that, being like, yep, clearly this is going to work.
Don't worry. They didn't matter on that one either.
Nope. I'm surprised you didn't have, actually, I should say, how much LaQuinn Allen did you have?
None, because I was so into Bashal Tootin.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I was so out on Bashal Tootin. I did not. I knew him only from my, this is going to sound so stupid, my NCAA 25 campaign. I got smoked by Bashal Tootin in one matchup. So I was like, all right, this guy's fast AF and he can't hold on to the ball. He did have a fumble in that game. So true to form.
I'm going Drake May.
Yes.
I don't want to play the Buffalo game.
That's fair. I think that's also correct. I think there's like a lot to really like about the Patriots. I do think like the problem is this might be a 3 running back build. I think most builds are 3 running back, right?
Yeah. Usually 2, 3, 5.
Because you need to have Ramondre Stevenson too.
Yeah.
I personally believe that this offense will continually to use both, to the detriment of all of us who are watching the game and say Travion Henderson is better than Ramondre Stevenson.
Yep. But I mean, obviously Patriots aren't most likely not going to win a playoff game 42-10, but last week proved that they both can give you fantasy points, and Drake May can give you fantasy points. Like, that's the run out you're looking for in playoff best ball. Yep. You're very unlikely to get it because they're not facing the Jets, but
dang it. That's a bummer. I wish the Jets made the playoffs, man. I wish Brady could.
Yeah. I cannot believe that they're one game away from not having a single defensive interception on the season for an entire season as a team.
80 years. It's been like 80 years of football, and no, a team has never done this. And our 2025 New York Football Jets continue to surprise us at every corner.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the question now. We're 2 picks away from going Eagles. Do we even want to do that? I'm only saying that because never mind. Just kidding. They're gonna go hit Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
LOL.
He's definitely going Hurts. It's kind of the one problem of the Patriots is like all the NFC stacks you really like are expensive or dirt cheap, and there's not really an in between. I do like Kittle still, just independently.
Yeah.
Or
Jets
do we
don't have to be good at anything?
Yeah. Or do we go Diggs just to make sure we get him?
I would be shocked if Diggs gets picked before us. Like, I would be tempted to just say Kittle and move on. At least get some solid points out of our pass catchers.
Yeah.
And Diggs had a huge game last weekend. Again, it was the Jets.
Yeah.
Diggs is also currently dealing with some felony charges. I don't think that's anything to really worry about, considering most disputes are handled like a year after.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like. Right.
Yeah. The only way he misses is like they cut him, which is wildly unlikely. So
right. Yeah. Like, this is all coming out today, and I doubt that they lose him. Like, when you look at precedent, do we have time as I start yapping? Yeah. So like when you talk about like precedent of other players getting, like arrested mid-season, or at least arraigned and charged, we don't hear anything until the next season. Like, when you like Rashee Rice, I think that was off season, and then he got hurt, and then he served a suspension.
Yeah.
I believe that's how that worked. And who was also recently, I don't remember what the Deshaun Watson timeline was.
Well, there was oh God, why can't I remember Brown's rookie running back?
Oh, Judkins.
Yeah, Judkins.
Yeah. Because he only got suspended via the NFL, right? No, he didn't even get suspended. He just didn't sign his contract.
He might get suspended next year for conduct stuff, but
that's right.
There was talk that he could get suspended this year, and so he dropped in drafts, and everyone was terrified of what might happen, and then nothing ever happened, and he was just good.
It's just a hyper value. Yeah, so our NFC team is still open.
Yep. If Jacobs falls all the way back, I'll be slam dunking that, but I don't know if we will.
All right, everyone hold your breath. Otherwise, we get the gamble with the Ken Walker all over you. Oh, unless.
All right.
Okay.
He opted for Goddard, which honestly makes sense.
Yeah. A Patriots-Bears Super Bowl. I don't hate it.
I don't either.
Watson missed 13 games and got hurt. Yeah. But I forget when that all came out, because I'm pretty sure it was he missed time while on the Browns, right? Yeah. Because Yeah,
because they knew all this was happening and then gave him the largest fully guaranteed contract of all time because Browns.
Tim, can we ban this guy?
Are we going to? Do we lock up Henry here? High in ADP.
So what's our ADP? He's a little higher than Ramondre. I think you do. I really, really want to take Ramondre, but I think you take Henry first.
Yeah.
Because of ADP. No one I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna get this guy at the 6-1 turn. Immediately go, yeah. Ramondre seems good here. This is a good pick.
Marks. But interesting. I don't hate it. Yeah.
So I guess this is a question to you for roster building. This would be our 5th Patriot.
Yeah.
Would it make more sense to take another pass catcher? Like, would it make more sense to take like Kyle Williams?
It can. I mean, whoever this is going to be a flex. It also isn't the end of the world to take more than 5 Patriots if you're like super convinced, like especially because they're very unlikely to be a 1 seed. Like I don't even think they can be a 1 seed unless I'm misremembering.
They can. However, it boils down to they have to win and the Broncos lose to Trey Lance and the Chargers. Because Herbert and the starters are sitting.
Yeah. Ramondre falls all the way back to us. I feel like we should probably just take him.
Looking at kind of what the Pats do, this would be my preferred 5th Patriot.
Yeah. Because honestly, like, I don't think it's wrong to, in the 10th round, tack on a Kyle Williams, Kayshon Boutte, whoever, and just roll with it.
Keep forgetting Boutte exists because he's always hurt.
Yeah. I do think Bears are interesting as like a secondary team.
So we have what? So what round are we in right now? We have
we're in the 8th round, so we got 3 picks.
Okay, we have 3 picks.
We need one more quarterback. Caleb went.
Okay, so to me, yeah, this is Jordan Love.
Yeah. So we have Jacobs. There's no other NFC quarterbacks besides Darnold and the disgusting Bucks Panthers combo that I don't want to get into.
If this wasn't $15, I think I would probably gamble on like a Panthers stack. Like only out of the gamble that Bryce Young runs it in for a touchdown. Like that has become something in his like arsenal.
Yeah.
Which makes him very oddly relevant and very spicy at the back of drafts. And you can kind of bet on Tetron McMillan being relevant. You know, you can pick up both Chuba and Rico. I feel like there's some sneaky value there to be had.
Yep.
Yeah, Christian Watson is going to crush. And I think him being this late in the ADP is also very silly.
I mean, the Packers have been so injured. I think a lot of people are just like scared off that they're just going to be one and done at this point, which is fair, but he's probably still going to be their leading receiver, even if they are one and done. So, yeah. And he can easily just go off for 25 any given week.
Right. And Jordan Love is just going through a concussion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he probably could play this week if they needed him to, but I don't think they need him to because I think their playoff spot is basically locked up.
I think they're the sole owners of the 7th seed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Watson's a smash here. And then for our last pick, do we want a 6 Patriot or do we want someone else for advancement? Because like the Patriots are pretty live to like be good enough to help you advance a lot of weeks anyways.
So what would be a player you think would help you advance? Because my thought would be whether it be Kayshon Boutte, yeah, I know QJ is probably really exciting too, or you just pick like Romeo Doubs or like Dontavian Wicks and see if that gamble can get you there. DK Metcalf.
Steelers might make the playoffs. Won't be fun, but they might. Or you could go Mike Evans.
No, thank you. I would pass on both of those guys. Just from the vibes of their current things. Yeah. I'll go to your decision here because I think both of those players have merit, Boutte and QJ.
Yeah. Let's go QJ. Yeah. Just to, you know, if for some reason Green Bay and San Fran don't make it out of round 1, like, you know, you want more pieces to make it out of round 1 besides your Super Bowl stack. So it would feel unfun to just have 6 Patriots and nothing else.
And in scoring, it's 1, 1, 2.
Nope. 1 all the way through. You have to win your pod 3 times.
Oh, and a flex. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah. Let's see. So this team went pretty typical for me. 2-3-5. Drake May, Jordan Love as quarterbacks. Running back, we got both Patriots in Henderson and Ramondre and Josh Jacobs to hopefully help us along a good ways. Receivers, we have Kittle, Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, Christian Watson, and QJ.
I want to stare at this Eagle stack that happened right before us, because does it get better than this?
Nope, it's exactly what you're hoping for.
Like, that is crazy. And then you also see first pick, Puka, Kyron, Stafford.
Yeah. Yep, that's if you can get
Wow.
If only Adams or only Kyron goes, you have a great start to it. It's interesting that they also went Niners and only
And then they didn't.
Again, they just like started shotgunning random NFC pieces just for no reason, really. Like 2 Niners, a Seahawk, a Packer. Like they don't even have a Super Bowl roster, really, unless the Rams make it, and that's it. They can't field a starting 5 in the Super Bowl if they make it there.
All right,
So,
I legitimately had to put like a Post-it note next to my face when I do the drafts later to be like, draft Super Bowl rosters. You have to play somebody who's going to make the team.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's
and
interesting.
like there's plenty of merit. Like I opt for 5 just because 5 is an easier bet, really, of you only need one team to make the Super Bowl. But like going 4-2-2-2, where 4 is from one conference and then the 3 sets of 2 are from the opposite conference, like that's viable as well, because if one of those 3 teams is the opponent, you've got six guys in the Super Bowl. So like that's viable. That's pretty popular as well. It's just a harder bet to make. So I don't know. I personally probably would have gone for that. If I was the one hole in that scenario, I probably would have added on a 4th Ram real late. I don't think I would have reached for Corum. Corum goes really early, way too early for what he actually gives you in fantasy. Personally, like 4th round Corum is just kind of nuts.
Oh, did that guy take Kyron? No. Then why did he do that?
Well, because he had Adams.
Oh, Adams. Okay.
Yeah. So he's playing the Buffalo Rams Super Bowl.
Got it.
But
featuring
again,
Baltimore, yeah,
and Chicago. Like he's basically making the bet that it's these exact 5 that you need for the Super Bowl with Allen, Adams, Shakir, Corum, and Kincaid. And then he added 3 Ravens and 2 Bears to try and get him there. I don't hate it. It's just it's thin as heck. Like, if you're gonna do that, I wouldn't have taken a 3rd Raven. I would have taken a random Bills wide receiver or a random Ram wide receiver, because there's like 4 of them that could be the touchdown scorer, a Terrence Ferguson, a Colby Parkinson. But I don't know what Andrews really does for that team. Like, you have Lamar and Henry. You're kind of like, these guys score all the points. Like, you took a couple Bears wide receivers on the assumption the Bears are going to air it out in their playoff game. It goes to Rome. It goes to DJ Moore. And then I would have been like, okay, let me get either a 3rd Ram or a 4th Bill, build that out as the for sure stack, and see if a couple Ravens and a couple Bears can help me sneak in there. But it's not wrong. It's just not how I would build it.
I can see the vision where you want a differentiating piece with Mark Andrews, where, if say the Ravens make it, how many teams really have Mark Andrews on there? I mean, I guess in theory, if you are on final week and you have a bunch of Ravens, you probably already have Mark Andrews, but that pool is probably much smaller anyway to begin with. So,
and going back to the Eagles guy, like 5 Eagles to start, perfect. And then does exactly what you should. Just 5 AFC players, just couple Bills, a Raven that's got projectable points, a Charger that has projectable points, and a projectable running back in Marks.
And
It's
like,
kind of weird to go those builds.
I think at that point, in the draft, you're just saying, look, I think these are of the teams that I think can make it. These are the guys that are going to be the boom bust players, and in that regard, I can see that going down there.
Yeah, it's basically just his hope is Eagles are smashing every single week. It's at least 3 of the 5 every single week. It's always Hurts because he's the only quarterback you drafted, which if I was going to do that, Hurts and Allen are basically the only quarterbacks I would feel comfortable doing that with. So I don't hate it, but again, it's like you have to really thread the needle to get there, but you really have to thread the needle to get there anyways. So I don't hate leaning into that concept of like, I just have to draft the best possible team. But if you're going to do that, I just wouldn't have taken Cooks and Ty Johnson. Like, I would have rather leaned into some higher projected AFC bets elsewhere instead of like trying to randomly add in a couple hopeful Super Bowl pieces at the end just out of nowhere that don't really help you unless you luck into it. But
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I can. Yeah, because you're already saying the Eagles are making the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just looking for advanced pieces to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
or like to help you get through.
You take all AFC because you hope that 1 or 2 of them are on the team that faces the Eagles, but like these aren't advanced pieces. Like Ty Johnson's not an advanced piece. He's not projecting to give you 15 points for 3 consecutive weeks. You're skipping for joy if he gives you 8 points. Like Brandon Cooks, I guess you can tell yourself the story that he might just be the wide receiver 1, but like, okay, good luck with that one. Have fun.
I don't know how many drinks I need to have to convince me that's the case over in Buffalo, but
yeah, like I would have rather grabbed Brenton Strange. I would have rather grabbed any of the Texans guys. I guess like Keenan Allen is going to definitely play and get some targets. Gadsden, same thing. Like Pat Bryant. I don't know. That's where I probably would have gone. Like, but you know, that's that guy's decision, and that's fine. But
and we'll see if it pans out at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Alrighty, folks. I think that is going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for sticking around with us. We had 3 fun drafts, 3 unique directions that we got to go. There are plenty of contests left open on Underdog. I think I saw that they just launched a little mitten too, if I look real quick. The regular mitten too. Is there a little mitten too? No.
Oh, the bigger mitten.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to put a lot of money down for a much smaller field, you can do that. You can see, $250 to enter, but you can still win plenty of money up top if you feel comfortable in calling the shots and you have that kind of bankroll. But that is going to do it for us tonight. Brian, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for chatting through this stuff with me. Definitely appreciated.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I am now amped up to go draft, so no one bother me for the next hour as I start queuing up some summits here.
Sounds good. Alrighty, folks. Keep an eye out. Follow us on YouTube and Twitch. We've got plenty of off-season content that is in the works for y'all, so keep an eye out for that. If you want to join the Discord, the link to that is also in this video. We are always active there. You can ask week 18 start-sit questions. If you have a very disgusting league that is for some reason playing the championship this week, we will still happily answer those questions. Well, happily is a strong word, but you know what I mean.
We love talking about fantasy football, so it's happy in that regard.
Absolutely. Always want to help get you championships wherever possible. That is our goal. So until next time, we will see you guys later. Thanks for joining. Have a great rest of your night.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.